Hello fam, how are you doing? I hope you're all doing okay. Thank you so much for your support. I really appreciate. If you're new to this channel, feel at home. I love visitors. Subscribe and join our family. If you're a returning subscriber, thank you so much for your support. Just know that you have a special place in my heart. I appreciate your support always. We are now road to 4,000 subscribers, so if you have not subscribed, kindly subscribe and be part of us. So in this video we have seen that the Syrian militants and the Russians, they have struck Aleppo, which is the second city in Syria. So let's watch this video till the end so that we can understand what's going on. I know it's really sad, yeah. You know, in Swahili word sometimes we usually say farasi akipigana nyasi ndio humia. Farasi wawili wakipigana nyasi ndio humia, which means like when these politicians fight, like the government and the opposition, they are fighting. The opposition and the government, when they fight, most people who usually suffer are us, you know, us, the people. So most of it, so mostly it is the Syrian people who are really suffering. Let's continue praying for them and hope that one day we will wake up and all these fights, all these things will be completely done and we will be back to normal. You know, sometimes when all these fights are there, the economies is really hard. Yeah, even the jobs, it's really hard, guys. So let's continue praying for each other. So let's listen to this video till the end, then we will understand what's going on. Okay.
Now we start in Syria, where the country's military has acknowledged that parts of the city of Aleppo have fallen to rebels and it sustained dozens of casualties in large-scale clashes. This was the centre of Aleppo in the early hours after Russian and Syrian warplanes bombed Islamist rebel positions there for the first time in 8 years in support of Syrian government forces. The rebels, led by the Islamist Hayat Tahrir al-Sham or HTS group, are reported to have taken control of the majority of Syria's second largest city after launching a surprise offensive 4 days ago. The Syrian military says it's withdrawing from parts of Aleppo to regroup ahead of the arrival of reinforcements. Aleppo was the scene of one of the bloodiest sieges of Syria's civil war, a conflict which first broke out in 2011. The city hasn't seen fighting on this scale since a truce was signed by Russia and Turkey nearly 5 years ago. Let's hear from one rebel fighter who made it into the heart of the city.
After hard work and patience from the fighters, the city of Aleppo has been completely liberated, thank God. And by God's will, we will reach Homs and Damascus too.
Our Middle East correspondent Lina Sinjab gave us more details about the Russian airstrikes.
This offensive started on Wednesday by the jihadist rebels sweeping through several towns and cities, including reaching most parts of Aleppo. So it was expected that government forces and Russians to start some sort of defense, and that's what happened overnight with Russians' airstrikes against rebel forces, and this time in the city of Aleppo. We're still not sure quite where exactly and if there are any damages and what are the death toll after these airstrikes, but this is a sign that both the government and the Russians have moved to push the rebels back, and we're still watching to see how this back and forth battle will unfold and who's going to remain and control power in Aleppo. Although we've seen also reports that the opposition who used suicide car bombs to advance towards the city of Aleppo faced little resistance from government forces, and there were some words for the army to pull out, to have tactical withdrawal from different parts of the city as well.
That was Lina Sinjab there. Well, let's get more on this from Ibrahim Hamidi, who's a Syrian journalist and co-founder of the Syrian Studies Centre in Scotland.
It's happening now, I think, for several reasons, but let me focus on two. One is that after the big defeat that Hezbollah and Iran faced in Lebanon and Syria, between Israel and Iran. Now the whole Iranian militias deployed in the western part of Aleppo been weakened, and the armed groups, the Islamists backed by Turkey, seized this opportunity to make some gains on the ground. And I think they were surprised how fast they were able to advance inside Aleppo. And now, as Lian Sejam was saying, the second biggest city in Syria, the first time ever in the Syrian history, is out of the control of the central Damascus, based in the Syrian capital. So now the Islamists, the armed groups backed by Turkey, support the second largest city in Syria.
And I understand that you've been speaking to a lot of people in Aleppo. How are they feeling about what is now happening?
I spoke to some reporters on the ground in Aleppo and Idlib. It seems, as of now, the leaders of the armed groups, the leader of Hayat Tahrir Sham, HTS, they give clear instructions to their fighters not to harm any civilians, not to attack any properties, to try to control the city militarily. I think they are in a way inspired by Taliban experience in Afghanistan. So they are trying to copy that model. So they are trying to control the city, and they are trying to let the locals to control the city. But let's see what's going to happen next. Now, as Lina was saying, the Russians have started to do airstrikes on part of Aleppo, and the Syrian government as well to do some strikes in Aleppo. Let me make it clear. I think the whole offensive, the whole gains would have not been possible if Russia intervened at the beginning fastly. It seems that Russia, because the Russian army has moved and transferred the most advanced air warplanes to Ukraine, now they were not able to intervene straight away in the last 3-4 days. Now they just started to intervene just now, after 4 days after the armed groups were able to control the second largest city in Syria. I don't know if they can really be able to push them out without making huge damage for this big city, which there is about 5 million civilians are in the city.
So where do you think the world is heading with all this kind of war, left, right, center? Like every day we wake up, Lebanon, Syria, Russia. Oh my God, it's too much for us. Haiti. So it's really too much for us, and I think life is really becoming hard with such things. Yeah, life is really becoming hard. We have some countries that import things to other countries. Yeah, as the world, as all these nations, there's a country that is helping another country, a continent that is helping another continent. So with all these fights, all those things have to stop. And you can see, yeah, us as civilians, we're the ones who are suffering the most, and we are the people who choose them to be our leaders, and they end up all this is happening. So who will come and stop all this fight in this world? Who will come and stop this? Israel, Gaza, oh my God, waking up to this news, this fight here, killings here. So let's just hold hands, pray. Anytime you go to pray, kindly pray. Be it a Muslim, be it a Christian, be it a Hindu. Let's pray for our nations. Let's pray for our leaders. Let's pray for the whole world, and hope that one day we will wake up and everything will change for good. So thank you so much for watching this video till this end. I love you so much. I'm going to see you in the next video. Right now I just want to say bye.